the fact that this conversation's being had, I love the fact that the debate's being had and the conversation's being had because it's educating a lot of people concerning. Rob, can you pull up Bassem Youssef? Bassem Youssef, Vinny, you showed this is his last tweet before he got.
Yesterday, he was his account was suspended off of Twitter, and this was it. He said
anti-Semitism was an accusation that used to freeze the blood on people's veins. I see many people now realizing that how this fear tactic is used to shut down conversations and scare people. It's been overused and abused in order to intimidate people. Are you still scared to be called an anti-Semite by those Zionists? Vote and tell me in the comments, no, I don't give a shit anymore, or yes, I'm still scared.
Do you think that's, I don't know if this was it, but that was the last thing that he tweeted, the last thing that he posted. His account got suspended. Meanwhile, I mean, Candace was on.
Did Musk comment on the fact that account got suspended?
I don't know, but I know it was taken down.
Okay. So that's nothing wild
that's
to
what
be
I'm
taken
saying.
down.
And
he didn't say anything to be taken down.
Zero, which is weird.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, Bassem's been going around for a while, and if there's anybody that the anti-Israel community that is really calling out what they've done should be very supportive of, it should be Elon Musk. Because if there's no Elon Musk, you ain't having this conversation, by the way.
Ever.
No, you're not having this conversation. Adam.
Can I just say one thing? You can pull up the tweet by Candace Owens' father-in-law, just to kind of give some context. His name is Lord Michael Farmer. Very interesting what he had to say about this. Everything that he's basically been sort of diagnosing with whatever Candace is doing. It's while you find that. So the reality is this, you asked, is what you can criticize Israel without being anti-Semitic. Okay, cool. So
you not agree with that? You said that sarcastically.
But that's not actually what happens.
Yes, it is exactly what happened.
What did you say about Michael Farmer?
Okay,
what did he say? What you want to tell us?
This is Candace Owens' father-in-law. If you can punch in a little bit, in view of public comments from a very high-profile member of my family, aka Candace, I want to put my own views on anti-Semitism and Israel's current military campaign in Gaza on public record. Again, this is her father-in-law. Do you have the full scope of it?
A recent letter from international military leaders said that the Israeli Defense Forces were acting in a high accountable way in an extremely complex and difficult environment. Is that the one you're talking about? We cannot forget that they have been forced to prosecute this war.
As a teenager growing up in the wake of World War II, I became very aware of the cruelty melted out before and during that conflict against Jewish people. Because they were Jewish, I found it impossible to comprehend how humans could intentionally be as cruel as possible to others. While the general opinion in Britain was that I would never happen here, even though I thought, really? It seemed it could happen anywhere. Such sadism lay dominant in the hearts of everyone. And he goes on to basically lay his case as why, as a young man, he started basically thinking a certain way. I often experienced kindness and thoughtfulness from Jewish friends, and at the time, I had a few close relationships. I became a Christian in my mid-30s and became aware of the latent rebellion in my own heart against my Creator. The Bible says we all need a Savior because it falls short of goodness, and expect those from others. He then goes on and continues, we aspire goodness and we're made in God's images. And he basically says, basically glory to God. I recently visited Israel and a member of the UK Israel support group that I'm very aware of the human heart that has one group and acts with an aggressor who needs to be rebelled, which he's talking about Hamas, which he basically labels a death cult. Israel is a rare example of a democracy in the Middle East, a liberal state governed by the rule of law. Of course, it has the right to defend itself, its citizens, when murderously attacked on its soil, and one of the cruelest and most callous pogroms in history, especially against a group who continues to vow to kill Israel and eliminate them from the map. We cannot forget the large number of innocent hostages that were taken. Many of them have died, and many of them are still missing. Israel faces an existential threat as Hamas, the terrorist organization. He stated their intentions to destroy Israel. So this is Candace Owens' father. So it seems to me that Thanksgiving dinner, if they have one this year, is going to be a little awkward. But I actually have hope for Candace. I think that there's nothing that can't be undone. So, you ask, you can criticize Israel without being anti-Semitic. Okay, I'm with you on that. I criticize George W. Bush. I criticize Kamala. I get it. But what happens is you go from being anti-Israel, and there's a slippery slope, bro. All of a sudden you end up being anti-Zionist, and then you end up being anti-Jewish, and then you end up being like, well, let's kill the Jews. And that's how you end up with Dan Bilzerian basically saying, yeah, they bring nothing to the table. They're a pariah. We should eliminate them. That's not exactly being critical of Bibi Netanyahu, who, by the way, speaking of critical of Bibi Netanyahu, we talked about this the other day, his approval ratings in Israel are a whopping 32%. So you can be critical of the government all you want. No problem.
I do that all the time.
Good.
Yeah.
But, you're basically saying, well, Candace is criticizing the government, and there it is, 32%. But she's not criticizing Jews. All right. What's this story? What's this? She declared, I want to be clear. If anything happens to me, blame the Zionists. Like the 1,000% blame the Zionists, making it clear. So what does that mean?
If she got murdered, if she died today, who do you think killed her? A random act of violence?
But she didn't die today.
I'm just saying, she's just saying if anything happens, because people were messaging her saying, yo, you better be careful because people like you that are saying the shit that you're saying get killed.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying. So Adam, that slippery slope from criticizing Israel's government, I don't know how that I would never that slope to get to I hate Jews.
You wouldn't.
No, but
Dan Bilzerian did.
I don't think Dan Bilzerian hates Jews. I think Dan Bilzerian doesn't like Israel.
You must have not seen. What were the exact words he said about Israel, Pat? I don't want to put words in his mouth.
Israel is not a Jewish person. He doesn't like Israel. Okay. Israel, like Adam, that's like saying I don't like America. Does that mean
the world's a better place without Israel on the map?
Okay, as a country, but does that mean he hates Jewish people?
So what does that mean? What happens to Israel? What happens to the 10 million people that are living in Israel that when they're eliminated?
What happens? He didn't say kill them.
What do you think happens to these people?
Off the map.
Take them off the map.
Is the world a better place?
Okay,
meaning
for you, I'm asking you.
Yep.
Do you think the world's a better place without Israel on the map?
I mean, at this point, no. We have to have them there at this point.
At what point would it be good?
I'm just saying, from when was the Balfour Declaration? When was Israel created? 1940.
Well, the Balfour Declaration was after World War I in 1917, and then Israel was given a state in 1948. By the way, when Israel became a state, you think they just started handing out flowers and bouquets to everyone around? They've been to war with all their Middle Eastern allies. Here's something you need to consider. I said you have allies, you have partnerships, you have trade agreements, you have alliances. Do you realize how many alliances and trade agreements Israel has basically put together with the Arab world? The UAE, Bahrain, Egypt, Jordan, Sudan, Morocco. So you have countries around the Middle East that at one point were at war with Israel. You're like, look, bro, like, why are we fighting these guys? Let's actually make peace with these people and let's see what we can do. And there's a lot of people think that the reason that October 7th is happening is because Trump, who started the Abraham Accords, you're a Trump guy, yes? You're America First guy, yes? Mm-hmm. Trump is the one that moved the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that think that they were this close to having a deal with Saudi Arabia and MBS, and that all basically spiraled after October 7th. So why would all these Muslim countries who formerly were at war with Israel start alliances with them? Because they recognize one thing. They might not love Israel. They might not love Bibi Netanyahu, but they recognize what you fail to recognize and what a lot of people fail to recognize. Because if you don't make friends with them, that means you're on the side of the Islamic Republic of Iran. And what happens is they recognize that Iran is the biggest threat in the region to the two things that every country wants: peace and prosperity. So if you look at what's happening in Saudi, and they're entering modernity, if you look at what's happening in UAE, if you look at what's happening even in Qatar, if you look at what's happening in Kuwait, all these countries are basically like, yeah, we're done attacking these people. They basically are the same people that realize, you know what, Trump wasn't really the problem. It was actually the deep state. So we're going to align with Trump, even though they thought that Trump was the enemy for years. So you're going to go through pretzels trying to equivocate, well, I can do this or this. All you're going to do is end up in a corner where it's like, do I pick the allies I have problems with? Or do I pick the enemies that are literally shouting death to America?
Rob, can you
It's not going to work.
So how do you feel about Trump's recent positioning and alignment with Israel?
I think, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent because it's kind of weird. I just saw the other day, Rob could probably find that he was speaking somewhere and there was 3 American flags on one side and then 3 Israeli flags on the other side. And I don't know what has happened.
Israeli flags?
Israeli flags.
Yeah.
Like 3 and 3.
Right.
Let's see. And it was kind of, and I have, because by the way, he wasn't doing this in 2016, correct? There was.
Press play, Rob. Press play.
Teeny little spot compared to these giant land masses. Israel is a tiny little spot compared to these giant land masses. It's really a tiny spot. I actually said, is there any way of getting more? It's so tiny. Israel.
Well, can I say something about this? Unless he's speaking in front of AIPAC or in Israel, I'm actually not a fan of this.
I'm with you.
Because despite all the arguments we've had, I'm an American. I believe in America first. I don't believe in America only, and we can only take care of our homeland. No, we have problems abroad, clearly.
But hang on.
So I don't know where the speech
tell
was.
Tell me where you are with Trump today.
I respect the hell out of you, Adam, for saying that. Any United States past, present, anybody speaking should only have the American flag behind you, period. Our church has an Israeli flag in the front. The other day I'm like, wait, what? What about the Palestinian? Like, there's Palestinian good people. Yeah, Hamas is, doing what they're doing, but what about Palestine? Anyway, when I see something like this, I almost feel, I'm not a fan, I'm going to be honest with you. I almost feel, Pat, like 2020, what happened? He got cheated. They cheated. He lost COVID, blah, blah. I think this alliance is almost like, hey, listen, you buddy with us, and we won't let what happened in 2020 happen in 2024. I think that's an alliance that he's making.
What's the quote? If you hate America, what does it say? If you hate America, if you want to eliminate Israel, then we don't want you in our country. What do you think about him saying that?
Well, if you want to eliminate,
I guess Dan Bilzerian needs to leave.
I think. Listen, and I don't. By the way, I don't know Dan Bilzerian's exact what he's talking about. If he's saying disperse,
you didn't watch the interview with Pat?
No, I watched it. But when he says Israel, the world would be a better place without Israel. Do you think that he thinks right now nuke it and get rid of everybody, or break it up as a country and get everybody out of there? Where do you really think he thinks?
Does it even make a difference?
Yeah, no, but hold on.
Basically, what he's saying is everything that's going on there, this democracy called Israel with all those Jews. We don't even want that on earth anymore. That's how I process it.
I don't think he thinks what you're thinking. I'm not a fan of this at all.
Why are you apologizing for Dan Bilzerian?
No, I'm not apologizing for anybody. He's his own grown man. You could have that conversation with him. What I'm saying is,
think he meant?
I don't like that
He wants to play hide and seek with the Jews. 10 million of them.
You think Dan Bilzerian right now with that comment meant go and blow it up and kill all the people that are there, the innocent, everybody, women, everybody.
I actually literally think that's what he meant.
I don't think so.
He said the world would be a better place without Israel.
If England didn't give Israel that land, they gave it to him and did what they did to the Palestinians. He's saying the world would be a better place. He's not saying kill them.
Okay,
he's saying.
So if that's the case, I'm sorry, I have to just stop you. You're acting like Israel's the biggest problem.
I didn't. No, I'm not
Middle
acting.
East.
No, you're putting words on my mouth.
You're acting like that's the reason that Afghanistan, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, half the countries are falling apart.
Going back to my point, why are we talking about Israel? Why is Candace talking about Israel? Why is Israel the big talk of the town for the past, when was October 7th? Since October 7th, that's all people, but that's the main event is that. And why, Adam? And we've asked this.
Because anti-Semitic people like them keep talking about Israel.
No, ready for this? No, because I've asked this a bunch of times, and Steve Kirby said it. Because remember, 9/11 happened how long ago? How long ago, Rob?
23 years.
23 years ago. To this day, real people that are awake know what happened on 9/11, who was really in charge, and what happened, and how they set it up.
Right.
And
you're the real people?
Yeah, Adam. Because you know what?
You know what happened on 9/11, but not our actual CIA, FBI.
Oh yeah, government. Adam. You trust the government. You go ahead and do that.
No, I'm going to trust Vinny.com.
Yeah, no, Adam.
That's
Vinny, then how did Vinny know shit that you didn't know? Because I was in during 9/11, and I knew.
Do you remember when Candace Owens hitched her entire career to the fact that Emmanuel Macron's wife was a man?
Guess what? I still believe that.
You still believe
I believe it.
Okay.
Yeah, because they haven't proved me wrong. Number two, so that 9/11 happened, and we still don't have the answers, okay? October 7th happened, the biggest failure of the biggest security freaking guard spot. You've been to Israel. For 6 hours they did what they went. Where's the accountability of, when are we going to find out what happened, Adam? Ready? 30 years from now, where they're going to go, actually, Benjamin Netanyahu, yeah, they knew and they turned the other cheek. What if you found that out, Adam?
Vinny.com just found out what happened on 9/11, so it might take 20 years.
Adam.org.
Today is August 20th. For those of you that are competing for the Minnect contest, Rob, if you can go to it, this is officially the last opportunity, last 2 weeks to compete for the Minnect contest. If you can go lower right now, the leagues for different levels that we have, the expert, Caleb Altmaier is officially first place. I believe he's a pastor, really nice guy. Talked to him a few times.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Bryce Mitchell, UFC, had a blast having him on. Alexander Lorenzo, they're top 3. And then you got Patrick Williams, Nicholas Irving, what do you call it, sniper, and then a bunch of other guys. They're in the top 10.
Ivan Raikkonen with 26.
Yeah,
I got
26.
him up. I
That's
love
right.
it.
Keep going. And then middleweight, we have Matten Hagkar, first place. That's an open one that anybody can compete in. Samuel Riley, Rollo Tomasi, really, third place. Good for you, Rollo, at third place. MJ Harris, Cecilia, if you got reviews, you would be in third place. Saad Hashmani, Matan, and then the rest of the guys there. Go to the next one. This is heavyweight. Denis Panev, good for you. Candace Owens coming up. Look at that. Candace Owens, second place. Dustin Gotkovsky, third. Calvin Ing competing. By the way, Dustin, Calvin, and who else is the third one? Dustin, Calvin, and one other. They're competing on Dennis. They're competing to see who's going to be the first to do 1,000 Minnects. It's a super close race. Dennis may actually beat Dustin, but we'll see. Is that Rob Gargulo?
Rob Gargulo.
And by the way, do me a favor, Rob. Put up your QR code real quick. Folks, if you love Rob, truly, if you love Rob, send him a Minnect and wish him a happy birthday.
Yes.
It was just his birthday. Rob Gargulo, the man, had a birthday right there. Shoot him a Minnect. Give him some love.
And Pat, by the way, they're not going to get Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't know why the hell he has Vivek's picture. That's false advertising. You're just going to get Rob.
Which one's Rob?
Rob's the little guy in the right with the beautiful tie.
The beard?
Yes.
Okay, the brown guy's been... Okay, got it.
That's a guy named Vivek Ramaswamy. Okay, go back to it, Rob. Let's see what else we got.
Beasts.
Go back to it. Let's see what else we got. And Vincent Oshana just absolutely dominating. 638, 1590. And then go to the next one. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Matt Cook at the top.
Mark.
Good for you. Mark Cook, 56.
Australia, right?
That's right. I've spoken to him 15 minutes before. Reese Queen, Brand Smith, and you got a bunch of other guys there. And then let's go to the last one. You got existing. Chris Magavero, User Zero, Rachel Cox, and Caleb's even on there. You know who else is on there asking the most Minnect? Go a little lower, go a little lower. Look, oh, man, that's a lot of good people on that list.
Look at that.
So the winners will be going to have a private meeting with me at the Vault Conference, and the winners will get a chance to meet The Rock and take a picture with them. So download Minnect and start asking questions. There's a lot of good things going on right now with Minnect app.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.